Hello and Happy New Year! Hope you had a good Christmas, good nice little break. Mine wasn't too bad, pretty fun, but I don't know about you, but I'm glad it's all over now. Time to get down to some proper hobby time now. It's always a bit difficult over the holidays, you know, lots of buying presents and wrapping presents and writing cards. Going to see friends and family, which is always nice, but it's kind of nice to just, once it's all over, it's nice to just sit down, cup of tea, bit of painting. Perfect. So, while I'm chatting to you guys today, I'm going to be painting, or continuing to paint, I have started, to paint Tom, the troll. Now, those of you who watched my last vlog will know that I had a bit of a troll disaster where I did a pretty horrendous paint job on them. Since then, they have had their Dettol bath and was completely stripped back to the plastic, and then since then I've reprimed them all and I've started to paint just Tom, the other two sitting up on the shelf there. Last time I did batch paint them, but that just gave me more work to do when it came back to stripping them. Had I just kind of done one, then I wouldn't have had to do them all, which would have been a bit easier. This time I'm pretty happy with them so far. What I've done is I've painted all his flesh in Rakarth flesh, and then given it a Rakeland flesh wash, and then I've painted his what would you call that? His waistcoat and loincloth in, I think it was Gorthal brown, and then a wash. I can never remember what it's called now. Agrax Earthshade wash, which I'm running dangerously low on now after spilling it on the floor. So yeah, I'm much happier with it this time. It's come out quite nicely, and I'm just going to go over it now and do a few highlights of Rakarth flesh again. So, Christmas then. Let's talk about Christmas. I wonder how many of you guys got hobby stuff for Christmas. Wargaming or just generic hobby. I don't think I got anything particular hobby related. Oh, I know. I did. I got some clippers, which will be really handy because I'm always spending ages and cutting myself, slicing them out with a hobby knife. But this will come in handy for cutting miniatures off sprues, which was very nice. Apart from that, I didn't get anything hobby related. But then I'm one of these closet wargamers. I don't tend to tell, well, many people that I'm into the hobby really. I don't know, I wouldn't say because I'm ashamed of it or embarrassed about it. I guess I'm a little bit embarrassed about it. Not because there's anything wrong with it. You know, if I thought there was anything wrong with it, I wouldn't do it. But I do think there is still a bit of a stigma attached. So we're into 2014 now, and hopefully it will be a good year for us strategy battle gamers. Hopefully we're going to get some cool new releases. Has to be said though, hasn't been the best start to the year in terms of positivity in the community. I am of course referring to the new Laketown miniatures, which everyone agrees look pretty superb, really nice looking miniatures. But as it turns out, or apparently, this is just leaked information at the moment, so there's still a chance it could be wrong, but I think it's pretty much all but proven. But apparently these new Laketown Guard aren't in plastic as everyone thought and hoped they would be, but are instead in dreaded fine cast. Which, you know, might not be the end of the world, you might not be thinking, but apparently they come in packs of 3 and they'll cost about 15 quid. So this is for like, what, like 5-point troops or whatever, how much they are. So that's £5 for a 5-point-ish troop. Pretty crazy. And people are not happy. You can see on all the forums, everyone's pretty disgusted. And even the ever optimistic GBHL James had a bad word to say about it, so you know it must be bad. So that's a bit of a shame. But they are really nice miniatures, and I have heard some people make some suggestions that maybe make it a little easier to swallow. One of the kind of theories I think could be definitely plausible is that someone pointed out that Laketown Guard might not be the only Laketown troops by the time the next film comes out, or after the next film comes out, because obviously in the next film we've got the Battle of 5 Armies to look forward to. Now in the Battle of 5 Armies, the armies of Laketown, or the army of Laketown, is there. So perhaps the Laketown Guard are just kind of like the, you know, the police of the town, and then there's going to be the proper foot soldiers in the next film, and so then that will be the plastic kit that they release, which makes a lot of sense. So perhaps for all you people who are really hoping to get a Laketown army, you might, rather than completely scrap your plans, it might be just a case that you're just going to have to delay it a little bit. I hope so, because I think it'll be a really nice army for, or to see around, because they do look kind of interesting. Not everyone's cup of tea. I probably wouldn't collect them, to be honest, though I would definitely, and I probably still will, pick up a few of their miniatures. There seems to be a lot of discussion as well at the moment about the future of a Smaug miniature. So we've heard, what, a couple of different rumours. So the first was, well, the first that I was aware of was that the reason why we haven't got a Smaug miniature yet was because of the change from 2 legs to, well, 4 legs to 2 legs, and that put Games Workshop back to the drawing board and had to scrap their original model, which is definitely plausible because we know that Peter Jackson changed the design very, very late. Very late. So you can definitely understand from Games Workshop's point of view how they haven't been able to do one yet. The next rumour though, which could be more problematic, is that apparently New Line have told Games Workshop that their original pitched model was too small. It wasn't enough to scale, and that if they want to release a Smaug miniature, it will have to be a whopping 36 inches. Now in a game where the board is only 48 inches wide and long, the idea of a 36-inch miniature is kind of absurd. I do feel sorry for Games Workshop because it's going to be a really challenging task for them. On one hand, they've got to try and release a miniature that captures the kind of the imposing nature of Smaug in the film, and he is huge in the film. And on the other hand, they've got to try and make something which is usable in gaming terms. So, what do I think? Do I think they're going to release it I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I know some people are, you know, can't even fathom the idea that they wouldn't release it. Because after all, the film's called The Desolation of Smaug. How can you not have a Smaug miniature? But I get the feeling that Games Workshop might end up thinking it's more trouble than it's worth. Purely as the anecdotal evidence, about 4 or 5 months ago I went into Games Workshop in St Albans, and I was browsing the Hobbit section, and a staff member came over to me and we got chatting, and one of the first things he said to me was, "Oh, bet you can't wait to see the Smaug miniature they're going to do." And I said, "Oh, yeah, definitely, I can't wait, it should be really cool." And he said, yeah, it'll be pretty epic. And I thought, great. So fast forward to a month ago, and I went into the same Games Workshop and browsing the Hobbit section again, and the staff comes over to me, and we got chatting about the new Desolation of Smaug miniatures and things, and I just happened to mention about the Smaug miniature and said, "Oh, it's a shame no Smaug miniature yet." And he said, "Oh yeah, no, it's he's too big. They won't do it. It won't happen." And I said, "Oh, what, like ever? They're not going to do one?" And the look on his face kind of told me that he knew something, but he wasn't going to tell me. And he basically didn't inspire me with confidence. And the gist of it I got was that perhaps he'd been told something by the higher ups. Perhaps they've been kind of telling their staff members to kind of play down the idea of a Smaug miniature because they don't want people to be too angry or disappointed if they don't actually do it. It's not much to go on, I know, but it just kind of did worry me a bit. But as I say, I do feel sorry for them because it's a big ask. It really is a big ask. I can definitely see someone like Forge World doing it, because I think they'd be able to do the miniature, maybe not as a gaming piece, but as a collector's piece, like how they did Weathertop. And I think they've got the skill to be able to make a miniature that big, because obviously they've got the kind of huge Warhammer kits and the super heavy 40k tanks and Titans and things, so they definitely have the ability to do it. It would obviously be very, very pricey. You'd probably be looking at what, like 300 quid or something, but it's going to be expensive no matter what. Even if Games Workshop did do it and released it as a plastic kit, I mean, at least £100 surely, but I think it could be well above that anyway. But who knows? I guess we're just going to have to wait and find out. So I think my New Year's resolution, at least hobby-wise this year, is to meet more wargamers, because I know very, very few. There is a gaming club in my town, and I have been there a few times, and they're a really nice bunch of guys actually, really good fun bunch. But unfortunately they're only interested in playing Warhammer Fantasy. That is the only game they play, and I have tried to play it. I've got a kind of undead army that I collected up, but I just didn't enjoy the game. Now, I have played it, or at least I've collected it in the past. I mean, I've been in this hobby for a long, long time now, believe it or not. I got into it in the early 90s, first of all with Hero Quest, which I'm sure I won't be the only one who got into this hobby through HeroQuest. Well, I know I'm not. And from there I moved into things like Warhammer, Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Quest, Blood Bowl, Necromunda, and I actually got into the Hobbit strategy battle game, or decided to move into it, because I was getting sick of competitive games. I didn't want to play in this kind of, well, to put it bluntly, a few years ago I was really into Warhammer 40k, and I was a Dark Elder player, and I kind of got sick of how on the ball you had to be. There'd be constantly a new army released that was better than all the previous armies, and so you'd have to kind of think of new ways around it to beat that army, and that's fine. I mean, it's a good thing really if you're really into the game, because it constantly gives you a kind of fresh outlook and a new kind of goal to work towards. But I see myself as a pretty casual gamer, and so I found it just required way too much investment in terms of time and effort rather than financial, although that's definitely the case as well. And so I was looking for something just a bit more casual really, and so it's the kind of scenario based games that I'm particularly interested in when it comes to the Hobbit strategy battle game. Way less so for the kind of points matches. 1 second. Where was I? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's the scenario games I really like in the strategy battle game. Though, you know, I'm an open-minded guy. I could be persuaded, I'm sure, to attend one of these GBHL tournaments. If only if it's just to meet some of you guys. No painting session is complete without a cup of tea. I don't know how people in other countries function without tea. As well as painting these guys, I'm working on something else at the moment. I'm going to be doing a Goblin Town gaming table. Pretty much specifically because there's 2 scenarios in the Unexpected Journey rulebook which need a 4x4 Goblin Town table, and I say it's specifically for that. Mainly it's just for the fun of doing it, and I'm not much of a terrain builder, at least up until now. I haven't really done too many terrain projects. But I think Goblin Town would be quite a forgiving one as your kind of first go at doing it, because, you know, if it looks shoddy, well, it's supposed to look shoddy, it's Goblin Town. I've ordered the Weta Chronicles art and design book, which I'm hoping will have some good inspirational sketches and pictures and things for me to go by. I'm hoping to actually, I'm not just going to do a generic kind of lots of walkways. I actually want to recreate specific things from the film. I'm specifically thinking the big kind of cage thing that the dwarves first get captured in. I'd like to make that. I think there's a bit where, definitely in the extended version, I can't remember if it was in the theatrical version or not, where there's like Goblin Town percussion things. I'd like to do that, and have like various little shack looking things, and I want to make it look like a proper little town rather than just a bunch of walkways. And I have made a little start on it. I just went to Hobbycraft and bought a bunch of bits of balsa wood and things to work with, and actually it's really fun to do. I just chop up balsa wood and shave little bits off of it and stick it together. then you have something which looks kind of cool. I think I will start a video series on it. I'll do a little kind of progression log. I'll keep it as a separate video, I think. When I've got a little bit more done, I'll do the first video. Oh, that is looking much better. I'm pretty chuffed with this so far. Not too shabby. Well, I think that's enough rambling from me. I will leave you to it. Let me know what you got for Christmas, whether you got any good hobby stuff. Let me know what your New Year's resolutions are. I'll be interested to know. Anyway, see you guys soon.